Alright, look, it's like an episode of Lacedaemon's Talk. I'm recording this right after I recorded the first episode. I'm not sure when I'm going to post these two episodes up, but hearing us on YouTube, I did. Anyway, so this episode, we're going to go over a different topic as compared to the first episode. Second episode, we're going to go over some more not so much politics related, maybe, per se, but some more other topics I've been thinking about. So first, before we get into anything else, I want to send out my my condolences to the Coeur D'Alene Fire Department and what's the fuck is the name of the county? The name of the county that Coeur D'Alene is in. So, if you don't know, about a week ago, there was a brush fire set near Coeur D'Alene, Idaho. And it's now believed the brush fire was set by a man trying to lure out first responders, in particular firefighters, because that same man later then used a rifle to shoot at those firefighters. And unfortunately, Katuna County. It's Katuna County. So, unfortunately, a battalion chief from Coeur D'Alene and a battalion chief from Katuna County Fire were murdered by that man. And another fireman from Coeur D'Alene is currently in the ICU. He's in stable condition, but he's got a long road to recovery because he got shot in the back, and I think he got a bullet in the spine. He has a long road to recovery, but the doctors are thank God, they're saying that he will survive and he will get better over time. It'll be a long road, but there is light at the end of the tunnel for him, which is good. So let's all pray for him. Let's all pray for the families of the firemen that were murdered in Coeur D'Alene by this monster who set this fire. And let's all pray for the Coeur D'Alene and Katuna County firefighters who were affected by this tragedy, directly or indirectly. It's crazy shit. It really is. So, about 13 years ago, actually, in West Webster, in my state, in New York. West Webster is a suburban community more out west. So West Webster had a shooting, actually. A man murdered his sister and then set the house on fire. And as soon as the engine pulled up, he opened fire on the engine that pulled up, and two guys got killed as well. Thomas Kachalka and Mike Chaparini. Mike Chaparini, I think, was a lieutenant with Webster, and was also a cop for the Webster Police Department. And Thomas Kachalka was a fireman for West Webster and also a dispatcher for the Webster Police Department. I remember when that happened. I was not a fireman yet. I was only about 13 or 14 when that fire happened. But we all felt it. We all still felt it, and it was fucking horrible. It's just what happened. And there is no fucking excuse for shooting at firemen. No fucking excuse for that shit. And look, obviously, I don't like when people shoot at cops either, alright? But it happens, alright? You know, some people just don't like cops and they want to try to kill them, which I don't like at all. I don't like when people try to murder police officers, obviously. But, like, I mean, I'm not saying it should happen. It shouldn't happen. But, like, it's a bit more expected because, again, you know, police officers enforce the law. Cops enforce the law. And, you know, sometimes people that break the law don't want to go to jail. And sometimes they're willing to murder people to not go to jail. And so, unfortunately, with them, it does happen sometimes. But with firemen, obviously, firemen aren't there to arrest people unless maybe they're a fire marshal. But that's more of a law enforcement thing that firemen do. But some certain firemen do. But anyway, look, the point is that firemen, there's no excuse for it. Firemen aren't there to arrest people. They're not there to do anything bad. They're just here to fight fires. All right, and provide EMS. Same with single role EMS providers. Obviously, they don't deserve to get shot here. No first responders should be killed. Obviously, but especially not firemen or EMS. There's no fucking excuse for that shit. And just seeing that someone shot at some of my brothers out there in Idaho is just, and then shot my brothers in West Webster 13 years ago is just sad. It's really fucking sad what's going on. Now, I'm not gonna say, oh, it's what this country's turned to, because like this shit's always happened. There's always been cases of firemen getting shot at, unfortunately. Thankfully, it's very rare, but it happens. A planned episode for Emergency Services Disasters I'm going to be making at some point involves a fire chief in Pennsylvania named James Kutchell, who was murdered actually at a fire scene in the 70s. He pulled up to a fire. As soon as he pulled up, the property owner shot and killed him. And I think that was in the 70s. I'm not sure it was early, mid, or late 70s, but that was in the 70s. I'll have to look it up later. That's gonna be a future episode for emergency services disasters. By the way, I have a whole list of episodes that I think it's like 110 incidents, and I've covered like 30 of them. I think, I don't know. But yeah. So that series, by the way, that's gonna remain a slideshow series. With like text and I'm not gonna do narration for it because it's based on like air disasters by Alex Joshua Ebay. I don't know how you pronounce the last name, but if I pronounce it wrong, I'm sorry. But Alex's series is pretty good, and it doesn't rely on narration, actually. And it still does its job, with recreations and text and whatnot, and images of the disaster site, which I feel is good for emergency services. It feels good enough for emergency services disasters. It's good for that series, honestly. I think it fits. And it's caused it to do pretty well. So yeah, stay tuned for more episodes of emergency services disasters. They'll be coming up at some point. I just haven't had time because I've been working a lot, been writing a lot too. So now we got that out of the way. Let's talk about writing. So obviously, I didn't win the J Novel Club contest, unfortunately, this year. The winners were announced at Anime Expo. But the good news is one of the winners, the big winner from last year, they got their book published, and the cover looks fucking amazing. I forgot the name of it, unfortunately, but the cover looks fucking amazing. I'm so happy for them. I'm in two Discord servers with them. I'm in the JNC Discord. I'm also in a writing collective Discord with them that we founded from several competitors within last year and this year's JNC contests. And I'm so happy for them. Their Discord username is Feyblu, Feyblu. I forgot their formal name, which they use for their book that won, actually. But I'm so happy for them, and I read their story, submitted and stuff, and they fucking deserve it. It is incredible. And all the winners deserved it, obviously. Last year and this year, they all wrote some very good stories. And once they're put out on JNC, whether they're put out in physical form or digital form, go read them. There's some damn good shit out that they've made. As for me, I mentored another contest. This time it's run by Honeyfeed. It's an isekai contest. Yeah, isekai. Oh boy. But you know what? I don't mind isekai sometimes. I think there's too much isekai a little bit. There's a little bit of isekai slop. But there's quite a bit of isekai that's actually really good. That I actually like. My favorite is probably ReZero. ReZero is my favorite isekai. And what's another? Yeah, ReZero is my favorite isekai. I mean, Gargi's Wing is an isekai. I mean, I like that, but not because it's good. Because I like Gargi's Wing because it's shit and it's fucking hilarious to watch. Damn you, Yamato Takiro no Mikoto! Damn you! Oh, fucking Garzy's Wing. Oh my god. That story. So much went wrong. I guess the novels Gargy's Wing is based on are actually pretty good, but they fucked that shit up so much when they adapted it into that OVA they made in the 90s. And the dub made it worse. The dub made it so much worse. If you haven't watched Garzy's Wing, give it a watch. It's on YouTube somewhere, I think. If it's not, you can find it on Pirates, I think. It's not on streaming. But if you haven't watched Garzy's Wing, give it a watch if you have some time. It's fucking hilarious. You will laugh your ass off watching that shit. Especially Japanese or dub, but especially the dub. You can tell that the director that was supposed to direct that dub just never showed up for any of the sessions, and that the sound engineers and the actors had to do their own direction, which would explain why the dub sucks so much. And so a fun story. When I watched Garzy's Wing in Anime Boston 2024, it was my first introduction to it for the Bad Anime Bad panel. By the way, if you go to a convention with that panel, because it goes to multiple conventions, if you go to a convention with that panel, go to Bad Anime Bad. You will have a great fucking time. You will laugh your ass off watching some pretty fucking horrible shows, anime and non-anime actually. But anyway. So I was at the Bad Anime Bad panel, Anime Boston 2024, and a guy there, his dad worked for Central Park Media, which dubbed Garzy's Wing, and he actually gave some pretty good context for the kind of environment the dub was made in. So there were times that the director just didn't fucking show up, not at all, So that meant the sound engineer, a guy who has no experience or knowledge in direction, would have to do the vocal direction. And as for anyone who has a little bit of know-how how acting or voice acting works, direction can make or break a show. Oftentimes, it's not the actors themselves that cause a dub to be bad; it's the direction that fucking sucks. The direction is what fucks up a dub or really anything, or any form of voice acting or acting in general. The directing makes or breaks a show or anything you listen to. So, and the other thing is, quite a few of those voice actors in Gargy's Wing or in other shows, and they don't sound bad in those other shows. It's just that if I had to guess, a director for that show was about as absentee as an absentee landlord, absentee slumlord or something, and just barely showed up. So that he probably had the engineers do his directing for him or her or there or whatever the fuck, which would explain a lot. It would explain why the dub sucks. Anyway, going back to Isekai, I've entered the contest. My story is called Derailed, and the basic gist of the story is they have a guy who falls asleep watching an anime called Rimnan Castle School. It's not a real anime; it's a completely original thing. And then he wakes up as a background character within Rimnan Castle School, spelled Rimnan. What I've worked out so far is that the Rimnan Castle School starts out a little lighthearted, but then gets dark. And so the school is essentially a school within a modern high fantasy world. It has like a little bit of modern technology, but also has like magic and stuff, and has monsters too. Rimnan Castle School is a really prestigious academy where like nobility and stuff go. And our main character is a commoner who managed to get in through a special exam that's given out to commoners and lower rank nobility. And over the course of the story, he changes things that happen in canon. Like he prevents a few canon character deaths within the anime. But the problem is every time he changes an event for the better, he prevents a tragedy from happening. The universe tries to correct it by creating a new tragedy later down the line, which causes issues. Another problem is, for the more comedic aspect of things, is that as a fan of Rimnan Castle School, our main character, whose name is Jordan Ramirez in our world, and whose name is Maxim in the new world. The problem is Jordan shipped two characters named Lena and Victoria together. That was his big ship. But the problem is when he gets into their world, Lena starts to fall in love with Maxim, and Maxim has to contend with either accepting Lena's feelings or trying to get Lena together with Victoria, or potentially getting Victoria together with another character named Sarah, who she's often shipped with as well. So, will his Yuri OTP become canon, or will he be forced to make his other favorite Yuri ship become canon and have another character and get together with another character instead? That's the big mystery behind Derailed. It's called that because obviously he derails the story, and also because there's trains featured in the story quite a bit. Speaking of trains, funny to talk about trains, because I'm going to take a train to New York City pretty soon, about another 30 minutes. And, so yeah, look out for that. I'll be posting chapters of Derailed only on Honeyfeed, because the rule of this contest is it has to be original story. It can't be posted anywhere else. It can only be posted on Honeyfeed. So if I win, I win. If I don't win, then I'll post it on the other sites of mine, which are Scribble Hub, Wattpad, Pixiv, Shosetsuka Ninaro, and Fiction Press. Those are the sites I'm in. I gotta check Shosetsuka at some point later on. Post some new chapters up there, because I got most chapters automated on that site, because you can do that there, which is pretty good. Definitely a bit of a hassle to navigate, considering the site's in Japanese and there's no English interface, so I have to use Google Translate to figure shit out. But I'm probably one of maybe 10 people on that site that writes in English, but oh well. It gets my stories out there. But yeah, I'm one chapter in, or about 3,200 words into Derailed, and I'm going to write more at some point. I may write more on the train, going down there and coming back up. But yeah. So you got that to look forward to. So yeah, like I said, this episode isn't gonna go over politics too much. I may dip into it here and there, but it's not like the first episode where I talk about politics all the time. Essentially, it's not like that this time. But yeah, that's we're we're talking about this episode is more non-political stuff. So yeah, taking this trip, doing some more recon for my other trips to New York City later on, July and August, because like I said, July 22nd, I'm going to go see Ghost. August 1st, 2nd, I'm going to see King Gizzard. August 3rd, I'm going to go see Linkin Park. And then I'm going to go to Anime NYC later on in August as well. As for other conventions, I'm going to go to Electric City Comic Con July 12th, which is a very small free convention that's hosted at Schenectady County Public Library in Schenectady, New York. Close to where I live. And I think I'm going to Kineticon for just for a single day on Saturday. So the problem was, my one friend was going to go not Genericon, fucking rest in peace Genericon, Kineticon. But she, the problem is, and she had a room, she needed a roommate, but the problem was I couldn't go because I didn't have enough time off to go all 4 days to Kineticon, which she's doing. But I talked about thinking maybe I'll go for a day or something, but I don't know. So, she'll be there all 4 days. I may run into her and surprise her a little bit, in a good way, obviously. That friend, by the way, is Frederick's Cosplay, FRDRX Cosplay. Go follow them. They're fucking incredible at cosplay, by the way. So yeah. I'll just go for the day. I may not even go and cosplay to Kineticon, honestly. I don't know, I'm gonna work on some stuff. I lost a button for my Tanjiro cosplay, which sucks. So, but the good news is I did buy Tanjiro's training mask, for he wore his final selection. So, I may figure out something. I may do in the future. I may do Tanjiro in his training, in his final selection outfit, with the blue coat and whatnot. I'll figure that out. And I still put it off the Peter Gabriel cosplay for Genesis and whatnot. There's so many good outfits that Peter Gabriel had when he was a Genesis that I want to do because I fucking love Genesis. And I'll get around to it at some point. I'll figure that shit out. Got some stuff in the works. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll go to Kineticon for a day on Saturday, and I'll go to Anime NYC for all those days with my friends, and then got Saratoga coming up in November. I may go to Anime New Jersey for a day in November as well, possibly. And Albany Anime Fest, I think, is later on in the year as well, because they're doing 2 of them per year, just as they did with Saratoga Comic Con. So yeah, all that's going on. So first Albany Anime Fest it went pretty well, actually. Jennifer Seehee was there from Sailor Moon, so that went pretty well. Fuck, I talked about this in the Lacedaemon's Corner episode 10 with the election special with Mom Donnie already, but yeah. So hopefully, as I mentioned, that problem with that guy named Chris, hopefully that problem is addressed and he's banned now. Like I said, it was a first-year con, so, it makes sense of why there maybe wasn't a ban list in place just yet. It happens. It's a first-year con. There's going to be a bit of problems here and there. But I guess the convention worked well enough that it's gonna come back later this year. So how OMG Cons works is that when they want to do a new con, the CEO, or I don't know if it's a CEO because it's a private company, or whatever the title of the guy who runs OMG Cons, he goes there for the first event and runs it. And then if he likes what he sees and he thinks it's gonna be successful, he'll pass it off to an assistant that's more local to the area and have them run it under his supervision from afar. And I guess everything worked out because there's gonna be another Albany Anime Fest later on this year and next year probably. So stay tuned for that if you live in the Capital District in New York, or a little bit beyond too. So yeah, I got that to look forward to. I'm going to a lot of conventions. Not too many concerts this year, unfortunately, because like I said, the SPAC got rid of the Live Nation got rid of the fucking lawn pass, which fucking blows. It's fucking bullshit. So the only concert I'm going to at SPAC this year is going to be Weird Al, because I fucking love Weird Al. It's going to be on July 17th. I don't know, I may look at other concerts possibly here and there. I don't know, I may go to Goo Goo Dolls at some point. Not entirely sure just yet. But, yeah. But it's alright, though. I went to my share concert the last 2 years. I'm content. I've taken a break this year from shows and focusing more on conventions and whatnot this year. Anyway, I'm only about 22 minutes out from the Poughkeepsie train station now. So, yeah, I don't know how much longer I'll be recording for episode 2 of Lacedaemon's Talk. But I'm enjoying this so far, actually. It's nice to just, talk and stuff and get all this shit out there while I'm driving. It's like, I can't, sometimes I just can't sit still, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, episodes will probably vary between politics and non-politics stuff. I may make some here and there, but, whatever. So, yeah, all that shit's going on. And, I'll just cut it off here, actually. It's been about 20 minutes, so... Yeah, so thanks for tuning into the second episode of Lacedaemon's Talk. I'm Lacedaemon, obviously, Lacedaemon. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, fuck it. I've been pronouncing it that way for about 2 years at this point, so who cares? And, yeah, thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.